Synthesizing sources. I got tired of saying hello and you're welcome to. So today we're looking at using two different sources in one paragraph. And how do you do that? So let's use an example. So let's say you're at school and you see two students getting in a fight. Marco, new student, and Jason, a student who's been there for a couple years. So you want to figure out who started the fight. So what you'll do is you'll probably talk to each of the students and see who started it. Of course, they're probably going to say that the other one started it, so it's not super helpful. Then you're going to go talk to some other people who were there and people who were not there. So your primary sources and your secondary sources. So synthesizing is when you compare more than one source to figure out what really happened. So in this case, I'm going to compare two students who saw the fight, and both of their stories, two different stories, lead me to believe that Jason started the fight. So I'm going to synthesize by using quotes from both of them. So I'm going to say, according to James, Jason and his friends are being kind of loud and joking around. According to Dylan, Jason and his friends have been mean to Marco before. So this is an example of synthesis because it's using the two different sources in one paragraph to prove that same claim. So when do you synthesize? Well, when you make a claim, you're usually making your claim, or you should be making your claim based on some evidence. So your evidence is going to be for one single key idea at a time. So let's take our first key idea. Students should not have homework because it does not improve learning. And we're going to use two different sources that both say that homework does not improve learning. Notice that we're only focusing on that single key idea. We're not using two sources to prove multiple key ideas. I mean, we can, but in order to get a 3 on synthesizing, you need two sources that prove one key idea. So how does that look when you're writing? Let's take a look at an example. So we've got our claim. Homework has not been proven to improve learning. Contextualizing, our first source. According to a study by the University of Colorado, there is little connection between homework and test scores. So that's our first source. We used one source, and we're explaining what it means. This means that doing homework doesn't always make students smarter. This proves that homework is not necessary for students to learn. That's our first source. We explained it. Now, in the same paragraph, using a different source, we're going to add in. So we might say, in addition. That's always a good starter. According to Homework Troubles, a secondary source by the New York Times, for every additional hour of homework, students went up 1 SSR point. This means that homework does not have a strong effect on reading levels. Students would be better off reading for fun rather than doing homework. Notice how at no point did I just drop off the quotes and leave. Every time I contextualize the quote and I explain what it means and why it matters for two different sources. If you're like, wow, that looks like a lot and it doesn't really sound that good because you're explaining over and over, you can also put both quotes in, contextualize them, and then explain them both. If the explanation for both of the quotes is kind of the same thing, then you can have two quotes almost in a row and then explain what they mean and how they prove your claim. So now it's your turn.